Yo, what's going on YouTube? My name's Troy, aka SoFlo Sneakers, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over absolutely everything you need to know about VCCs, also known as virtual credit cards. So I have a few quick notes before we get into things, and the first is that although this video is pertaining to sneaker botting because that's what my channel's about, I'm still going to be covering a ton of general information that should be relevant to just about anybody watching, and I'm also going to be going over a ton of the top virtual credit card companies and providers on the market. If any of this sounds like what you're looking for, make sure to stay tuned till the end of the video because we really are going to be going over a lot of information, and if everyone could just take a quick second and drop a thumbs up on this video, that would be greatly appreciated because it really helps the channel out. And of course guys, make sure to subscribe for other sneaker reselling and sneaker botting related tutorials. I'm also going to be hosting a giveaway with one of the top virtual credit card providers on the market a little bit later in the video, so make sure to stay tuned for that as well. And last but not least, before we start going into depth and breaking everything down, I just want to say that if there's anyone out there who's looking for one of the best and one of the most helpful communities for sneaker reselling, sneaker botting, and just overall making money online from the comfort of your home, I highly recommend checking out my Discord group SoFlo Supply. I'll be leaving a link to our website down in the description below, so if you're interested, you can see everything that we offer. That's going to be it for the intro, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really hope this video provides a ton of value, and on that note, let's get into it. So what is a virtual credit card? Why were they invented? And what benefits do they provide? For the first part of this video, we're just going to be talking about the general use cases just for anybody out there. And then as we dive a little bit deeper into the video, we'll talk about why VCCs are so extremely important for sneaker botting. So a virtual credit card is going to be a brand new credit/debit card that's given to you from whatever company you're getting it from. And basically this new card that you receive is either going to be linked to a bank account, a credit card, or you're simply just going to have to deposit money in like a prepaid card. For a very broad example of how VCC works, we're going to be using a CapitalOne credit card. How their system works is you're basically just going to go onto the website, you're going to sign into your CapitalOne credit card account, and then right on the website, they're going to allow you to generate these virtual credit card numbers, and just keep in mind that all of these virtual credit card numbers are going to be linked to your main credit card account. So all of these virtual credit cards that you just generated on CapitalOne's website are all going to have completely new numbers, they're going to have completely new expiration dates and CVV codes. So essentially guys, they are a brand new card, and just once again keep in mind that these are all just going to be linked to your main credit card account. Just to clarify, in no way is this a new credit card account. You are not going to be opening up new credit cards every single time you generate a VCC. This is not going to touch your credit score whatsoever. The easiest way to think about what a VCC or a virtual credit card does, guys, is it's basically just giving you a new card number, and whenever you use that new card on any website whatsoever, it's simply just going to pull the money out of your main credit card account, just like you were using that main card as you normally would. The main benefit of virtual credit cards and just why they were invented in the first place was to help people stay anonymous online, and just to help people's main credit cards and main bank accounts stay safer from hackers and just people trying to steal this information. There's a few main features of virtual credit cards that are going to contribute to this, and obviously the first one is you're just going to be using a complete new card number, a complete new expiration date, CVV, and guys, it's literally a brand new card that is simply just going to be linked to either your bank account, your credit card, and the point is to keep your main credit card and your main bank account safe from hacks and just people trying to steal your information. The first feature is the easy ability to just lock these cards, close these cards. Some have a feature that makes all of your cards a one-time use, so whenever you use the card once, it automatically closes down and can't be used anymore. Some VCCs have something called a merchant lock, so if you go and use that card on Amazon.com, that is the only website that that card can ever be used on again. It's important to keep in mind that all of these different VCC companies are all going to be a little bit different from one another. They're going to have slightly different features and just allow you to do different things, and just once again guys, we're going to be breaking all of this down in just a minute. For a quick summary, virtual credit cards are used to stay anonymous when you're using your cards and making purchases online, so you won't have to be using your real credit card and your real bank account information. Another random point is that a lot of these virtual credit cards will actually allow you to not even use your real name. You can put any billing address that you want as well, so that's just another thing that can contribute to the anonymous aspect of these cards, because if you're making some kind of digital or just online purchase, you can throw in any random name and any random address, and with a lot of these VCC companies, they will have no issue with that and allow the purchases to go through. With some VCCs, you can also set up a spending limit. So you can put the limit at $1 and that's the max amount that can be spent on that card. And overall, this is just a super great way to have a multitude of different card numbers, and there's just so many use cases. So that's the basic rundown of why VCCs were invented for the common person. But now let's talk about VCCs specifically for sneaker botting. The main reason why VCCs are so extremely important when it comes to sneaker botting is because they give you access to tens, if not hundreds, if not thousands of unique card numbers that you can use on all these different sneaker sites. All of the main sneaker sites like Nike, Foot Locker, Yeezy Supply, guys, they are well aware of botters and resellers. And if you're trying to check out 5 pairs of the same shoe with one debit card or one credit card, the site's bot protection, or if they're manually checking orders, they're obviously going to see that, guys, and most likely they're going to go ahead and cancel all of your orders. On the other hand, if you were checking out 5 pairs on this website, but you were using 5 unique virtual credit cards, it would obviously be a lot harder for the website to see that you're the same person, and you're going to have a much less likely chance of getting your orders canceled. That's of course a super basic rundown of how VCCs are used, but there's a lot of other points to keep in mind too, like how some VCs just don't work on some sites. Some will have restrictions on how much money you can spend, and the list really goes on, and I'm going to try to touch on all of this as we start going over the specific VCC companies, which we're going to get into right now. There's a few key points to keep in mind before we get into the list of VCC providers we're going to be covering. The first point is that it would be very difficult to cover each and every single virtual credit card provider that's out there on the market, so I'm just going to be going over some of the most popular ones out there and some of the ones that I've personally used in the past. Another point for a lot of these VCC providers and just credit cards in general, a lot of them are going to require you to be at least 18 years old, and a lot of these companies will also only be available in the United States. Although, like I said before, there is a ton of other companies out there, so I'm sure if you guys put in enough additional research, you'll be able to find a VCC provider that can suit your own personal needs. With all of that out of the way, let's start to dive into the specifics, and the first VCC company that we're going to be covering is going to be Privacy.com. This is one of the most well-known VCC providers on the market, and for all these different companies, we're going to be throwing up 6 different categories on screen now, and this is how we're going to be breaking everything down and be able to compare it all. To start off with Privacy, we're going to be talking about how these cards are linked, and that's going to be the first category. So Privacy is relatively unique in the fact that they allow you to link their virtual credit cards to either a bank account or a debit card. So you're going to have to link it directly to that bank, or you're going to have to link it directly to that debit card. So after you link your bank account and after you use a Privacy card on any website to make a purchase, that money is going to be pulled directly out of your bank account or directly from your debit card account, which is a very convenient factor that Privacy does have. Next up on the list, we have price. Privacy is both a free plan and a paid plan, and I'm going to throw those up on screen now. So with the personal plan here, that's going to be 100% free, and that's going to allow you to create up to 12 cards per month. The pro plan is $10 a month, and that's going to allow you to create up to 36 cards per month. And then you have the teams plan, which is $25 a month, and that's going to allow you to create up to 60 cards per month. One thing to keep in mind with Privacy is they kind of have this weird limit thing. So let's say that you have the free plan here and you're generating 12 cards, 12 cards, 12 cards, and let's say after 3 months you generate a total of 36 cards. A weird thing that Privacy does is if you don't use a certain amount of cards like within a certain time frame, they won't allow you to generate any more. So I'm not sure of the exact number, but I do know that you have to use at least some of the cards in order to be able to keep generating them month after month. One of the biggest downsides for Privacy, especially for sneaker botting, and this is going to be the next category, is going to be their spending limit. A lot of the times if you go and you make a fresh Privacy account, they could only give you like a $500, maybe $750 or $1,000 limit, which at the end of the day, guys, is like a couple pairs of shoes, and that really isn't going to get you too far. As you do continue to use the card, and a lot of the times you just simply have to max it out and then like go and email them, they will raise up your limit, but it's going to be incremental, guys, and it could take at least a couple months of you consistently maxing out your card for you to have like a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 daily limit. The next category is going to be merchant locked, and yes, all Privacy cards will be merchant locked, which means that if you go and you use one Privacy card on Amazon.com, then that card can only be used on Amazon.com for the life of the card. So if a card wasn't merchant locked, which some of the ones we're going to be discussing a little later aren't, you'd be able to use that card on Amazon, you'd be able to use that same card on Target, Walmart, and it's not merchant locked. You can use it on any merchant at any time. The last point on this list is going to be block sites, and this is pretty much only going to be applying to sneaker botting, botting, because to the common person, you'll be able to use this card on pretty much any website that you want with zero issues. One very important point that I want everyone watching to understand is that this section right here is going to be completely subject to change. And just because I say a card is or isn't working on a specific site at this exact moment in time, in no way does that mean that this can't change moving forward into the future. Going back to a little bit earlier in the video, questions like this, like which card is working on this specific site at this exact moment in time, or just any other questions about VCCs, anything sneaker related, or just reselling in general, this is such a great reason to be in a reselling community like SoFlo Supply, because you literally have expert support at your fingertips to answer any questions that you might have about literally anything, guys. Now, since the site disclaimer is out of the way that these cards can change at any time on which websites they do and don't work on, as of right now, the one main website that Privacy and actually a lot of the other VCC companies are not going to work on is going to be Supreme. For whatever reason, Supreme's payment processor is extremely strict and they do not like virtual credit cards at all. And just for some quick Supreme sauce, you guys are really only going to want to be using hard cards like debit cards and credit cards and just your real cards, because those are the main things that are actually going to work. Another site that I've heard people having issues on with Privacy is going to be Foot sites, just like Foot Locker and Champs. I've heard a lot of mixed opinions on these. Some people say they work, some people say they don't. So that's something you'd have to experiment with yourself if you decide to use these cards. To my knowledge, Privacy should work on just about every other site when it comes to sneaker botting, so they're really not too limited in the sites that they don't work on, and a lot of the other cards are going to kind of follow this same pattern. The last category is going to be overall thoughts. I think Privacy is a very good beginner platform for sneaker botting if you're just getting into the game, and if you can get a decent spending limit, even if you have to use it for a couple months, it could end up being a pretty good option. The low spending limit is honestly a pretty big negative when it comes to sneaker botting, and not being able to link it to a credit card or maybe get points that way could be another thing that could turn other users off as well. The next VCC or virtual credit card we're going to be talking about is going to be CapitalOne Eno. So these are only going to be available to people who own a CapitalOne credit card, and like the example in the beginning of the video, any spending you do on these virtual credit cards is going to be pulled from the main account just like you were spending on the main card. CapitalOne virtual credit cards are going to be 100% free to any CapitalOne cardholder. One thing I want to point out that's very important about VCC's link to a credit card is that everyone should really be putting in a lot of time and effort when researching which VCC is right for them. I just see so many people that want to start sneaker reselling and want to start sneaker botting that just rush into a credit card just because it has VCCs, and that is just not the way to go about it at all, guys. Obviously, if you already have a CapitalOne credit card, then you're set. Like, you have the VCCs, and I think they are available to pretty much all CapitalOne cards, so you're good to go. The issue I see is that if people maybe just turn 18, or like I said, they just hear that VCCs are available, these VCCs are working on this site, and then they go and they instantly apply for this credit card, and a lot of the times with CapitalOne specifically, you could end up with like an $1,000 limit, and then you're kind of stuck in the same place, and maybe you were just better off using Privacy. And I hope you guys are starting to get the point. There is no point to just rush in and just apply for a credit card just because it has VCCs. You want to apply for a credit card because it has real world benefits that you're going to actually be taking advantage of, like cashback or miles or whatever it is, guys. The point is, if you know nothing about credit cards, do not just instantly apply for one just because it has virtual credit cards available. Up next for CapitalOne Eno is going to be the max quantity, and these have a 20 card per day restriction, and I don't believe there's a max amount of cards that you can generate in the end, but the only limit they have is that you can make 20 of these cards per day. The spending limit is going to be whatever your limit is on the actual credit card itself, and that's going to apply for any other VCC that's linked directly to a credit card. The spending limit is essentially your credit limit. CapitalOne Eno cards are merchant locked, so what you're going to do when you're actually generating the card, you're going to have to type in which website you want to use the card for, and then of course, guys, that card can only be used on that specific website that you made the card for. When it comes to block sites for sneaker botting, this is going to be kind of an interesting one because there's just so many mixed opinions on these, but for the most part, they do and they should work on the majority of sites. Some people say that they never have issues on any site besides maybe like Supreme, and then other people are saying that they're having trouble on Yeezy Supply or Foot Locker, maybe even Nike. Results are completely varied across the board, and that's just another one of those reasons why you shouldn't just rush in and apply just because they have VCCs available. They work for a lot of people. other people say they don't work as well. I've personally used them in the past and have had pretty good success with them. With sneaker botting as a whole, guys, there really is just going to be such a massive fluctuation with what works from one person to another. So just because someone's telling you that this virtual credit card works for them on this site, it doesn't necessarily guarantee that you're going to have those same results. So it's just kind of a general rule of thumb with sneaker botting. That same thing applies for Gmails and proxies, bots, everything, guys. The results really are going to vary from person to person, and you're going to have to experiment with and play with different things and figure out which is going to work the best for you. Overall thoughts on the CapitalOne Eno virtual credit card is that if you already have this card, then that is awesome. I think you should 100% be taking advantage of this card and just use it across a bunch of different websites and see how it works for you. If you don't already have a CapitalOne credit card, then like I said before, I would highly suggest just putting some time and research into seeing if applying for this CapitalOne credit card is a smart move for yourself. If you're looking for a credit card that has, let's say, a cashback option, and you see that one of these CapitalOne credit cards has a cashback option, it looks like a card that you would actually use and continue using beyond your sneaker botting years in the future, then okay, it might be smart to apply for it. But once again, guys, I'm sorry to just keep beating the same drum, but do not just go and apply for a credit card just because it has VCCs that come with it. Next up on the list, we have a company called Slash Virtual Credit Cards, and this is actually the company that we're going to be doing a giveaway with in today's video, and we're going to get to that in just a second. So Slash VCCs are going to be slightly different from Privacy and Eno in the fact that in order to use these cards, you're going to have to preload and deposit money into your Slash account. So you simply just link your personal or your business bank account, and then you deposit money right into your Slash VCC account, and then all of the cards within the account are going to be pulling from the money that you deposited. For the pricing, please keep in mind that Slash has stated that this is completely subject to change, but as of right now, in this exact moment in time, and once again, guys, if you're watching this video months or maybe years down the line, this could be different, so just bear with me here, but these are the current prices for Slash cards. So the Pro plan is going to be $29.99 a month, and that's going to come with 36 virtual cards. The Elite is going to be $69.99 per month. That's going to come with 100. And then you can see the Unlimited plan, which comes with 500 virtual credit cards, is going to be $249.99 per month. You can definitely see that as of right now, Slash is definitely more pricier than the rest of the list, but there is a big difference with this company and all the other companies that we talked about and all the other companies that we're going to be talking about in today's video. The main difference between Slash and all these other companies that we're going to be talking about is that Slash was made specifically for sneaker botting. For the spending limit on Slash, that's going to be however much money you deposit into your account. So if you load up $2,000 into the account, that's how much money you can spend across all of your cards. The same thing goes for $5,000, $10,000, $20,000. It's however much you load up into the account, that's going to be the overall spending limit on the cards. Slash cards are not going to be merchant locked, so that means that if you use them on Amazon, you can go right ahead and use them on Target, use them on Foot Locker, whatever site you're going to use them on. They are not merchant locked, so that's honestly a pretty big positive. The only block site I know of on Slash is going to be the same block site on all the other companies, which is going to be Supreme. And guys, like I said, they just do not like virtual cards over there. These cards do work really well on pretty much every other site out there. Overall thoughts is that specifically for sneaker botting, Slash is one of the best options on the market. That's going to lead us right into our product giveaway, and I really only do these guys if I actually believe in the product, so hopefully that kind of says a little something. I've been pretty cool with the guys over at Slash for a little while now, and the owner Victor is super chill, and in this video he's allowing me to give away 50 beta invites to Slash, and all you have to do to enter is like this video, subscribe to the channel, and I want everyone to leave a comment about your experience with any VCC provider out there on the market. So just hop into the comment section, state whatever card you were used, whether it's Eno, Slash, Privacy, or any other one out there, state whether you had a good or a bad experience and try to give a little bit of information about that. And after you do that, all you have to do is drop your Discord tag after the message so we're able to contact winners. Just to clarify, even if you use another provider and you say they work great, that's not going to hurt your chances at all. You're still going to have an equal chance of winning this giveaway. Like I said, the point is to just simply help other people out in the comment section. This giveaway is going to be lasting a total of 2 weeks, and once again, guys, just make sure you drop your Discord tag after your comment. Unfortunately, if you're watching this video months down the line, you're not going to be able to participate, but make sure to go give Slash a follow on Twitter because they're going to be doing future giveaways, and just any announcements about the company are going to be posted on here. And while you're on Twitter, go shoot your boy a follow too, because it is greatly appreciated. And I actually just decided that I'm going to be announcing all 50 winners on the Twitter as well, so go give me a follow too. The next VCCs we're going to be talking about is going to be Citi virtual credit cards, and this is going to be the same thing like Capital One, that in order to use these cards, you're going to have to own a Citi credit card. They're also going to be very similar in the sense that whenever you use a Citi virtual credit card, it's simply just going to pull from your main credit card account. Just like the Capital One Eno cards, Citi cards are going to be 100% free as long as you own a Citi credit card. There's two main downsides to Citi cards, and I just want to emphasize this one a little bit because it could apply to Capital One. I know I said that Capital One should have a virtual credit card for pretty much every card that they have, but I would honestly just call in to verify that the card you want and the card you're applying for has virtual credit card numbers, and the same thing is going to apply to Citi. If we take a look at the website, we can see that the virtual account numbers benefit is not available for all Citi cards. If you currently have a Citi card, you can view benefits, blah, 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 or you can view all Citi cards by featuring citicards.com. So the same thing is going to apply to Capital One. The same thing is going to apply to Citi. Make sure you guys call in and just verify that the card you want to apply for, if the card just makes sense in the first place and not even about the VCCs like we talked about earlier, just call in and make sure that the card you're applying for has virtual credit cards associated with it. The second downside to Citi is that you're only going to be able to generate a total of 100 cards, and that's going to be for the lifetime of the card. So you're only going to get 100, and 100 honestly does go a pretty long way, guys. I don't really think I ever use more than 100 at a time, so it's still not bad, but it is a limit that you have to keep in mind when comparing it to all the other different options out there. The spending limit is just going to be whatever your credit limit is, and once again, that's going to be the same as Capital One, and that's going to be the same for any virtual credit card that is linked directly to a credit card. As far as merchant lock goes, I'm pretty sure that Citi is not merchant locked. So once again, that means that you can use the same card across multiple different websites and you won't have any issues with getting blocked or anything like that. For blocked sites, once again, we're going to have Supreme. And besides for that, for the most part, I do think that Citi cards should work on the majority of sites. I know that they used to have issues on sites like Foot Locker and sometimes even Yeezy Supply, but someone was telling me that Citi issued a bunch of brand new virtual credit cards and these ones supposedly work a lot better. So take that with a grain of salt. Overall thoughts is that if you already have a Citi card and if you have access to the virtual credit cards, fantastic option, guys. Like, there's really nothing wrong with Citi. They are a very good option. And like I said, if you already have the card, then go for it. I think you should 100% be utilizing them and using these cards. On the other hand, if you do want to apply for a Citi card, make sure that you actually like the card and you're going to be using it years and years down the line versus just getting it because it has VCCs. And that's the last time I'm going to say it, guys. All right, that is the last time. I will not say it anymore, but I just see people making that mistake all the time. I really just want to make sure that I'm looking out for everybody. So once again, guys, if you're younger, if you just turned 18, if you don't know a lot about credit cards, consult someone who does. And once again, in SoFlo Supply, we do have a credit help section, but your parents work too, friends, family. Next up on the list, we have Stripe VCCs, and this is one that became pretty popular throughout the last year or so, but it seems like a lot of people don't really use these too much anymore, but maybe they do. And we're going to break everything down so you guys can see all the benefits and all the kind of downsides as well. Stripe is going to be very similar to Slash in the fact that you have to load up money beforehand. So you're just going to link your bank account and you're going to deposit money right in. So it's different from Privacy, where Privacy just pulls it directly from your account and you don't have to deposit. With Slash and with Stripe, you're gonna have to deposit money in order to be able to use these cards. One important note about Stripe specifically is that for whatever reason, their deposit system takes a very long time on that first deposit that you make. So if today you go and you deposit $1,000, that $1,000 might not really be available for like a week or two. And I don't know what it is with Stripe, but typically that only happens the first time. So if you want to get these cards, just make sure that you're depositing money in advance and just kind of a long time before you actually plan on using the card. After that, deposits should hit your account in like 1 to 3 business days, I think, maybe even faster. But for whatever reason, just that first one just takes a really long time. Stripe virtual credit cards are not going to be free. And as we can see on screen right here, they're going to cost 10 cents per virtual card. So if you get 100, it's going to be $10. So nothing too crazy. And then if you want physical cards from Stripe, they're going to be $3 per. So once again, it's going to be 10 cents per virtual card with Stripe. And in order to do this, you're going to have to set up a Stripe account. And once again, you're going to have to deposit money into that account. I don't believe that there's a max quantity on the amount of cards that you can make as long as you're paying the 10 cents per each one. The spending limit is going to be similar to Slash, and however much money you deposit into the account, that's how much you can spend across all the different cards. I also don't believe that Stripe is merchant locked, and which is kind of a nice feature because you do have to pay for each individual card, so you should be able to use it on any website even after you've already used it on a different website. For block sites, the same goes for Supreme, and besides for that, I do think they work on pretty much every other site. Once again, guys, there's kind of been rumors of them not really working on sites like Foot Locker and Champs. Overall thoughts, I think Stripe is a decent option to use. The long deposit times are a little bit of a turnoff, and you have to pay 10 cents for every additional card, which isn't really a huge deal, but it could add up over time. At the end of the day, guys, just like I've been trying to explain throughout the entire video, everyone is going to yield different results. There could be people who absolutely love Stripe, they use them for sneaker botting and they just love them, they have no issues. There could be people who feel the exact opposite way, and the same goes for any provider on the list, any provider out there. With sneaker botting specifically, guys, it just varies so much. There's just no way to put a one size fits all for any of this stuff. Every sneaker botter has experienced this. We all just have to figure out what's going to be the best option for ourselves, and the only way to do that is by experimenting and just putting in the time and the research. The last card on the list that we're going to be talking about is going to be American Express, and these ones are a little interesting in the fact that they don't actually have any virtual credit cards associated with them in the actual company, but there are third-party companies who will give you virtual credit cards that will link up directly to your American Express account. The one key point about American Express is that in order to use these virtual card features, or in order to use the employee cards that actually come with American Express cards, you're going to have an American Express business account. There's one main company called TradeShift that offers virtual credit cards specifically for American Express business accounts, and that's just kind of the one we're going to run through real quick. So for the link, they're going to pull directly from your American Express account, and these cards are going to be free. They're not going to have any costs associated with them. There's also not going to be a max quantity on these cards as well, so you can virtually generate as many as you want. And then once again, guys, the spending limit is just going to be the credit limit on your actual American Express card. For all of my fellow American Express business holders, you all know that we have virtually no limit. Kind of. They're not going to be merchant lock, guys. You can use them across any retailer. And the same thing goes for block sites. It's going to be Supreme again. And besides that, I think they pretty much work on every other site. Overall thoughts, if you do have an American Express business account, I would definitely recommend going onto TradeShift's website and trying to apply there. But if you guys do end up joining SoFlo Supply, we do have a direct connection to a TradeShift representative, and we can get you an application much faster than if you just went and applied on the website. So that's just another random thing. If you just go onto the website and apply, it could take anywhere from a couple days to a couple weeks for them to contact you, so just throwing that out there as well. I do think that is going to wrap up today's video, guys. I hope this was able to provide a ton of value. Remember to drop a like if this video helped you. Remember to subscribe for more future sneaker botting and sneaker reselling tutorials. I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and on that note, I'll catch you all on the next one.